2, 3, 4, 5.
Once we caught our fish alive.
Our fish alive.
6, 7, 7.
7.
Sacred number.
Lucky.
Deadly sins.
In honor of Kwanzaa.
Kwansaba.
7-line verse.
7 word lines. In
7
honor of Kwanzaa.
celebration.
7-day
African
celebration.
Family.
Of African family.
Nguzu Saba.
7 principles.
Umoja.
Unity.
Kujichagulia.
Self-determination.
Ujima.
Collective work and responsibility.
Ujama.
Cooperative economics.
Nia.
Purpose.
Kumba.
Creativity.
Imani.
Faith.
7. A reference point for African family values, or 7 deadly sins. 7. Contemporary significance with severed. Spoiler alert. Brad Pitt and a severed head in the film of the same name. This severing of heads, severing of thought, of language, severing, silence, sectioning, are constant throughout our culture, not unique to recent barbarisms. Colonial impressions of the continent were shocked, quote, at how lenient punishments were. Jail cells virtually unknown, capital punishment rare, police by community, elders' wisdom. 7, 8, 9, 10. The hands we fed bit us, took our fish, processed our waters, coated us in breadcrumbs and sold us our own fingers. On the one hand, we have a fish. On the other, finger. In this scenario, are we the fish or the finger? Do we bite the hand that feeds us, feeds lies to us, the other hand behind the back with a bludgeon mallet? Give the women, men, the means to realize that this fish was stolen from them in the first place, our halibut, our collective habitat, their Halliburton. And they'll eat for more than one day.
Grassroots, community, indigenous agency is formidable. The Zapatistas, Ogoni 9, the We Charge Genocide Movement, the May Project Gardens. These networks working for the people are born from self-defense, independent of current dominant narrative climate change activism structures, many of which are tripping into complicity in marginalizing and othering. Grassroots agency and independence is mature beyond the infantilization and deifying in the telling of stories about them, in effect, relegating them as minority causes and exceptions to rules defined by an academic, Europeanized intellectual universe of activism. The emphasis today is saving the planet is a team effort. But when black and brown folk are never called from the bench except as tokens of diversity, then the game will never be won. So it must be remembered. Remember.
Remember when our delta waters were clean, how we washed our faces in rivers and chased fish with our bare hands. Remember before delta had its throat slit and bled its oily pipes into soil, when we hummed words into the water and it would laugh and sing back.
Noose.
We are burning alive in this village. The oil pipes spew open like bowels and stain our homeland with curses. Our mouths have become coated in oil. Drops make liquid nooses around our necks. Our words buried and left for remains. We will never speak the same again.
Eaten.
Look how obese the ocean has become. Its waves ingest my fertile land vicious and devours my home to its bones. The ocean leaves its offcuts when sated. I am left a half-lit emblem. Tell me, where does one turn to when their home becomes a hostile lover?
Sinking.
They're all sinking in the Mediterranean Sea. Our borders have become dense and long, and their ships have burst into splints. The sea is bloated with people's limbs. Their memories did not make it either. They're all sinking in the Mediterranean Sea. Watch how the bubbles float and pop.
Funeral.
Does my alarm clock wake me, or the nightmares? I often cannot tell. Both remind me of a lonely funeral. I share a room with strangers. We breathe in damp and each other's lungs. We are wheezers who will not complain. We are still sinking on dry land.
Future.
I work long to send money home. They are sure of the future here. At home, everything is on quicksand. So we speak in the present tense, for home is an exposed nerve waiting. I work long here, saving my money, hoping to send the future back home.
Danger.
You tell me to save the planet, to reduce my carbon footprint, buy local, and to turn my lights off. My footprints are not wanted here. I buy, but you think I steal. I'm afraid of what darkness might bring. You speak like I don't know danger.
Danger.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot! And there she is again, vulnerable and brave, body out in the open season. For good reason, light ablazes in her eye. She kneels not for absolution, but for freedom, before a growling arsenal, dogs closing in. She stands her ground untiring, her flesh soft, communicating hard resistance, no supplication. She carves a silhouette.
Don't shoot!
She kneels on the white front lines for revolution. Time is no obstacle for her thinking. A future imagined for her children. And reclaiming the dignity of her forebears, waking stolen limbs of lineage threaded through the black tar. She is feminist activist now because her skin brims with sharecropper songs pulled from the belly of a nutritious homeland ripe with the first nationed ancient Pueblo songs which echoed across plains when prairies were free and Mustang grazed when buffalo hoof pounded the grasses fleeing the hunt. There, when enough was enough, and the earth would yield in reciprocation to ritual prayer, offerings in tune with nature's seasonal reincarnation. Here, activism, rich as the land is lush. Here, before violence planted with each seed watered from wells of wept human misery, toil, black African, woman, man-made mule, under musket, Bible, eugenics, prophet, cotton bale, whip and cane, welts and scarring deep as the future named Ferguson. The season is ripe with familiar fruit, black bodies, plucked from their potential, sucked by hate, spirit succored by fallen ancestors. Arms open to a lightning strike, none but Ogun's embrace will vanish this Oshun beauty in high tops and jeans. Clear is her focus, clean is her heart, a forest purified. Pride, after conflagrations of fury, flaring after murder, staring down the swathes of state armor, she kneels in protest before steel and hate, buoyant upon centuries of crescendoing warrior roars of the genocided. The climate is hot, fermenting prejudice, ripe rot, riot shields, hot. Cloud stings her eyes, smears are her tears, diluting her fear, unreal courage where she kneels. She is vigilant dissident in orbit for justice on a land she walked centuries before. She seems ephemeral, blurring reality, wooing bullets that will not taste her blood today. Kneel, her body told her. Raise your hands, girl. Praise those knees, girl. Praise those knees and hands, sisters. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell.
Spring in November. Focusing on several dates throughout yet another of the hottest months on record, in which issues of race raised the global temperature. The connected through line of fire and heat, a questioning of how we use, measure, and connect to our climate. A continuation of climate change conversations and questions.
5/11.
Bonfire night. A man hanged, drawn, quartered, yet beyond council fences, flames flicker still. This desire, this fire within, it burns.
We are burning alive in this village.
Treason trumps torture. Famous Anonymous take streets, a million white masks, black face unity, can return. Hunt out witches' wisdom, seek counsel with shaman, lest we forget.
9/11.
From Guy's London torture tower, blood flows. Colours Israeli Red Sea, clots the Atlantic, 9/11. Not Pinochet, not opium wars, great war. Heroic death, brave butchery, sacred. Pin Victoria to chests and sing victory. Are these Afghan poppies made in China? Or is this drug a British export?
10/11.
Black death spawns a white savior virus. Locusts take air, buzz around brown mouths. A breadbasket is branded basket case. Feed the world with helpless, needy Africans. Do they know it's 34 shopping days until Christmas? Give us your fucking money. How much a pith helmet spacesuit?
10/11.
Flying above our planet, you may pause. How fragile? Where are the borders, walls?
Look how obese the ocean has become.
Shudder. Someone has left the gas on. Are those candles for the Ogoni 9? An eternal smogged flame for Sarawiwa? Bonfire fury, night and day, where maps are drawn, protest hung, and village quartered.
19/11.
Back to earth for student sunrise. Black history strides strong from October. This term we face race, question eugenics, reject their choice cuts, favor ITAL
The
diets.
sea is bloated with
High
people's
pressure
limbs.
sweeps in from the south. To reduce, recycle, replant our server farms. Cold front here to stay. Kettles boil.
25/11.
Steam release across ocean. Segregated city burns. Nothing to see here in post-racial society. Black out this bleak Friday. Buy nothing. Mammon clutches mama's throat. Hands up, off. Thick smoke reverses the chokehold. Cough. Tears stream. Levees break. In these storms, a chance to remember who we are.
Home is a hostile lover. The uncertainty of home. Though each verse denotes a different situation, it as a whole draws on our current political climate to imagine the journey that many from the global south will make in search of safety and refuge from environmental degradation.
The patch of land she kneels on is marked with white painted road lines, which belonged to the First Nation people of the Sioux tribe before it is the Ferguson that we know now. A tribe that would have lived in harmony with the land before colonizers and settlers systematically killed and decimated the land with industrialization and urbanization. Global climate issues are intertwined with historical struggles for justice against racialized oppression in communities where space, land, the earth, and nature's cycles are consistently in a state of resistance and balancing.
Looking globally at who is most affected by climate change, we see that those disproportionately affected are countries within the global south, people from the majority world, who directly rely on the land or the sea for their food and survival. Consider how climate change impacts diaspora communities and how ongoing inequality and historical legacies of colonialism have led to migration and dislocation from ancestral lands. Seek to engage with dialogues about climate justice that take into account the criminalization of Black, Brown, First Nations, peoples, communities.
Remember when our delta waters were clean, how we washed our faces in rivers and chased fish with our bare hands.
3, 4, 5.
Remember before delta had its throat slit and bled its oily pipes into soil, when we hummed words into water and it would laugh and sing back.